Hi there, this is Ed from Barnabas Robotics. I want to do a quick video today. I got some feedback on our Carousel Tree Robot project. If you haven't seen it yet, this is a project that we initially first did for a virtual live field trip, and then from there, we've also done it in live instruction in class. And what it teaches you about motors, circuits, and it incorporates crafting, that artistic side, which is a big value for us. Now, here's the thing, right? And I'm always looking for feedback because any way that we can make our lives easier as instructors and teachers, and also for the students, that's going to be positive for us. You know, we want to have the best experience for our students and teachers as we're learning about STEAM here. So the feedback was that when you turn it on, let's say you go like this and you turn on the motor. You put one pin into one socket here of the motor, just so you can see here. The motor's right here, okay? And then this goes onto top here. If you turn it, you have to turn it on. You put one pin in one socket and the other pin in the second socket here, and it turns on. That's what it's called a closed circuit. If you look at it, you can follow the path here from the black to the red through the motor and back. And so that's a nice way to kind of introduce closed circuit with a closed loop, and then to turn it off, or open circuit, to turn it off is just open up the loop. Okay, so we can see some good teaching there. Now here's some downsides that the instructor, teacher mentioned. Okay, so one is that when you're trying to turn it off, let me turn it back on. When you try to turn it on, or sorry, when you try to turn it off, you have to kind of put your hand over here, and if you have decorations on the bowl here, like I usually have stickers of leaves and things hanging off these pipe cleaners. As you go over there, the stuff could fall off, you know, because it's gonna bump into your hand because you have to stick your hand in there to turn it off. And then secondly, if you notice that these pins here, these are nicely designed to fit perfectly into the socket here, so that makes that connection easy. But the downside they mentioned was that if they're going to use these parts over and over within a year or maybe year to year, they could see that these pins could eventually break. So I think it's great feedback, and so they was kind of challenged. All right, so how could we possibly improve this? And they kindly mentioned, you know, what if we added a switch to this so that you don't have to get into there and knock stuff off, and then also you wouldn't have to you know, pull these pin and socket connection in and out so much, which would reduce the wear and tear on these pins here, right? So here comes this thing. All right, so this thing is actually a 2-battery solution. All right, and so let me kind of show you how that works. All right, so this battery case comes with 2 batteries. So, you know, I guess one potential downside is you have 2 batteries now, a little bit more cost, but not too bad, right? But the upside is that there is a switch right here that you can turn off and on. All right. Also, I mean, as we look at these 2 batteries, an upside for 2 batteries too is there's more teaching there, more learning. You could talk about what would be the cause and effect of having 2 batteries. We could do a little math there and talk about the science as well, talk about voltages and even current. And so that's not necessarily a bad thing to have extra components, right? So then we put it in, all right, and we cover it up, and then I added these 2 pins here, so we still have these pins here that are similar, or not similar, exactly the same as the pins on our initial battery holder. So then these can just go straight into here on our motor. Here we go. Trying to look at this. Here we go. In. And there we go. So it works, and then we have our battery holder here with the switch. And let me just hold it up to the camera. I can just turn it off and turn it on. Okay, there we go. So, I wanted to share this, with our community to see what everyone thinks. I think there's definitely some advantages here, as we've mentioned. Some possible things to think about, right? The solution with just the one single battery holder and opening closing, I think students can get a better grasp because it's a tangible. What's the word I'm looking for? Where you're actively opening and closing a circuit like that to for them to cement in that kind of concept of open and closed circuit. But maybe what I would think about is, it's nice to start with this for them to kind of get the idea of open and closed. And then you have this thing that is also opening and closing the circuit, but using a switch, right? So kind of the best of both worlds, I think. Maybe the students could understand open and closed circuit first, and then once they understand that, they can then appreciate the beauty of this awesome switch. And that's kind of a concept that we go with, and a lot of the projects that we do is that there's so much tech out there, and sometimes even as adults we just jump in and just say, wow, the tech is great, right? Makes our lives easier. But if we go through that process where we understand the tech a little bit, do it the hard way a little bit, and then add in the tech, you have this new appreciation, which I think will, bode well for all of us, as teachers and as students. Okay, so those are just wanted to share those ideas. Again, I think it's great, and we'll probably incorporate this option in our classroom sets. All right. Feel free to give me any feedback. We're here for you all, and thank you for being a part of our community. Bye bye.